mbokk yi ñu leen di nuyu di leen dalalaat fii si beneen édition yi Good Morning Africa program. It's Wednesday the 10th of June 2020. It's another beautiful day. The rains have started, alhamdulillah, and hopefully that dafa continue and dafa ñëw ba dem si jàmm. Good morning once again. ñoom suma team bi balaa ñoo start rek da leen naa bàyyi suma team bi Modou Nyang ak Mariam Jara gaay ñu nuyu fii balaa ñoo start the program proper this morning. I'm sure it will be very interesting like we always do. We bring you interesting stories in the Gambia and around the world. Good morning, Mariam, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Munyang. Di wax Good Morning Africa. Di nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa santa. Di leen welcome back to another edition of Good Morning Africa. It's Wednesday nu ko julde waxee ñetteeli fan si week bi la. Di leen ñaanal jàmm yal na ngeen yendoo jàmm.
Allahumma amin. Modou Nyang suma xarit bi tey moom nii nga fullee rek.
waaw nii naa la jullee di la laaj naka ngeen fanaane ak yaay Mohamed ak tam ñi nga xam ne si time bi jotee rek ñoom leen di yaakamti pour ñëw seetaan Africa TV ngir taataan seen xibaar yi wértu wóor nga xam ne mooy jógee si kër gi fii amaat nañ mbégte bu baax tey moom suma ñaari ajaroti laay fi am di nuyu Amadou bu baax mis nañ ko fi tey
suma brother
waaye noonu lam day demee waaw.
waaw comme nu mu ko waxee rek ñu ngi nuyu Amadou Kanté nuyu ne miss nañ ko torop tey moom teewut si programme bi waaye xam naa ne mu ngi on other important engagements too. waaw si boobaa rek ñu woy ñu wax si leneen waaye ñu ngi wax rek tey tamit newspaper review bi mu ngi si biir studio stories yi tamit mu ngi fi so everything is inside today. You just have to wait and watch and you will be enlightened as to as the program unfolds. Viewers, that's it for today's edition. We will just go straight to our first newspaper studio story this morning, and we talk about matters of Gambia and George Floyd and of course Mamadou Lamin Cisse, who have been murdered by police officers at the United States last month. We just go straight to the first story. Gambians call on the United States to reform policing methods in the U.S. and to orient law enforcement officers towards non-violent policing and human rights. This came in the wake of recent death of two Gambian black men, one of who is a Gambian, allegedly murdered in the hands of police in the United States. Activists in the Gambia had threatened to hold a protest before the U.S. Embassy last week, but date was rescheduled to further notice. Details of that in this report. Gambians have petitioned the United States government urging them to end racism and police brutality by conducting thorough investigations of all incidents of police brutality against blacks in the United States and ensure full justice and accountability. This came in the wake of the racially motivated murder of George Floyd and Mamadou Lamin Cisse, son of a former UN employee and Gambian diplomat in Atlanta by U.S. police officers in May. The concerned Gambians considered in the petition the death of Mamadou as a gross violation of his human rights in which the police employed excessive force and violence. They further call on the government of the United States to take all necessary steps to release the police videos on the shooting of Mamadou Lamin Cisse and to conduct constitutional, legal and institutional without and end structural racism by criminalizing it. The group considered the impunity as unacceptable and a gross violation of the civil rights of African Americans in total contravention of the Constitution. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations, GBI, had said that police opened fire on Cisse after a car chase that ended up with him firing a handgun at the officers. However, the deceased family and friends rejected the version offered by the U.S. authority and called for eyewitnesses to come forward. Human rights activist and family friend Banka Mane in a Facebook post said it was yet other police killing of a black man and another police report blaming the victim while facts were out somewhere. Cisse's father told the Fatu Network that he was waiting for the results of an autopsy but raised his doubts of the official account. Gambia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement urging the U.S. government to conduct transparent, credible and objective investigation on the matter. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Jai Suare. Wow, Mungi Nunu, Gambians are set to petition the U.S. Embassy in the Gambia over the death of George Floyd and Mamadou Lamin Cisse, a Gambian resident at the United States of America who have been murdered last month by police at the United States. Mungi Nunu, Madi Cisse, Madi Jobate Rada and Co. Guy then sent a petition to the United States government through its embassy in the Gambia here. Pour one nyom lu xewoon si America moo nekk buñ reyoon ni George Floyd ak Mamadou Lamin Cisse, son of Gambian diplomat in the United States. ñoom ñu ngi wone seen naxar si loolu noonu te ñu ngi ko condemned. ñu ngi urge the United States government pour ñu release video of the killing of Mamadou Lamin Cisse, because ba léegi ñi ñi xama George Floyd moom it's viral, everybody knows what is happening, but Mamadou Lamin Cisse ba léegi kenn mënuta gis video yi buñ ko reyee. So ñoom ñu ngi urge government bi US government bi pour ñu make sure ne ñu release video bi nekkul loolu tamit dañ urge United States government to make sure ne ñu protect the rights of the African Americans there at the United States of America. ñu ne gaay seen declaration bi gaay ñu respect ko ak the constitution which protects equal rights of all citizens living in America. Waaye gis nañ ne segregation baa ngi am fu mu nekk ni the rights of blacks have not been respected in the United States, and over the years gis nañ ne so many of these kinds have been happening. But the death of George Floyd mom therefore prompt worldwide protest and condemnation towards the US government. So seen jàngat si loolu rek ak lu nekk di happen xam nga George Floyd mom ak Mamadou Lamin Cisse loolu it's not something new. All these days mun si newspaper yi mun si radio yi mun si televisions yi all over the world. So seen jàngat si loolu.
Waaw Julde lii dafa nekk lu nga xam ne àdduna bi yëpp ko ñaawlu te America dañ def lu nga xam ne dañ wone where they stand, because incident bi bu mu happen su nekkutoon affaire yi video bi ñi video on the streets luñ release kon dara du doon génn si loolu si the death of George Floyd. After loolu noonu ñu teg si few days gars yi rey dis Lamin Cisse. I am 100% sure that the video of Lamin Cisse will never be revealed, because xam naa buñ ko doon rey no one was filming. loolu moo tax
si guddi la that happened, but people are family lawyers ak friends are optimistic ne dinañ ko release comme nu ñu release.
They will not release it because dafa fekk ne yii de naka la population bi ñoo fa nekkoon ñoom ñoo doon film, waaye lii on na ma ne seen naka la seen footage yi seen street lights street CCTV ñooy jël that video. So America ñoom dañ nekk dëkk bu nga xam ne they are very protective about such informations duñ ko dee foyee sax and lu nga xam ne it is concerning the state xam nañ ne lii it is suñ ko génnee daf leen di daaneel bu baax a baax. They will never release that video. People will never know how he was killed. They will know that he was killed by a policeman that shot him, but the details you will never know. America will never take that risk.
Lii daal we just hopeful ne guy dino make sure by all means ñu release this video ak tamit evidence even leading to it, because according to the official version ñoom ñu ngi wax ne Mamadou Lamin Cisse moom moo njëkka shot at the police officers, but that is their version. Family ak friends yi they have some doubts about that, but hopefully daal guy ñu ngi def seen liggéey, because Gambia government bi tamit jóg na gis nañ ne fi dañ issue a press release to wax ne urging the United States to conduct credible, transparent and accountable investigation on the matter. So hopefully the Gambia government is now involved, the matter will really be dealt with amicably. So Mod Nyang ma bàyyi la rek nga jox ñu tamit sa jàngat si incident bi.
Daanaka liñ si doon wax nañ ko bu yàgga dañ koo ñaawlu rek, waaye itam fii leen doon xaar Gambia government bi pour ñoom itam ñu ñëw wane seen réaction lan la comme ko def nañ ko rek mun nañ dem si beneen.
So alright, mungi nonu dal we just optimistic ne very soon the videos will be released and then we will really know something or those alleged perpetrators in the murder of Mamadou Lamin Cisse there. But till then, let's just move on and talk about other matters, because the Ministry of Defense on Tuesday presided over security stakeholder meeting meant to develop the median defense policy document for the Gambia. The document is expected to boost the government efforts in its security sector reform agenda. More on that in this report.
Ministry of Defense on Tuesday hosted a stakeholder security conference aimed at developing the first ever defense policy document in the Gambia. Stakeholders from the Ministry of Defense and the Army are expected to deliberate on critical issues relating to the importance of reforms in the security sector. Speaking during the opening ceremony in Kotu, Minister of Defense Sheikh Omar Faye reiterated his ministry's desire to provide support and guidance in formulation of defense strategies.
This is the duty of any Ministry of Defense to develop a defense policy, and from there on, I'm sure all institutions will deduct from it and also get things moving. We all know that the reforms are well talked about, they're very popular. I think since the invent of the new republic, the security sector reform has been a very, very popular subject. And we want to reassure all Gambians and our friends that yes, we are on course and we are putting up the structures and strategies in place.
Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambian Forces, Major General Yakuba Drame, said that the doors of the Gambia Army are open to innovation and proposals that could help in elevating standards in their job. In September 2017, the Barrow-led administration launched the reform project to cure a deeply politicized system which has not been responsive to the needs of the people. However, the process to ensure effective and accountable security under democratic control has been criticized for taking a very low motion. Major General Drame responded that efforts in the transformation of the army, like in any human endeavor, goes in a process.
When we embrace the new administration within the context and within our immediate reach as an institution, we've been undertaking a lot of reform processes. Processes, they are not visible, but we've done all we could to give that projections and to give the clear thinking and focus of officers and men of the armed forces. It's a continuous process. And remember, reform in any human endeavor is a process. And usually, it cannot be a definitive timeline.
In November 2019 issue of the bi-monthly newsletter of the Office of the National Security, Mamadou Badji, the National Security Advisor, stated that the most difficult reforms are often those that relate to behavioral and attitudinal change. There has been absence of local ownership of the SSR, largely due to the capacity gaps on the parts of the local actors, according to the 2018 assessment report. Badji pointed out that the lack of capacity is exactly the problem that SSR is meant to address, without which the SSR is bound to fail. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante.
Thank you so much, our very own Amadou Kante, for that report. Gambia's security sector reform. Leave on Nadipi 2017 last start and dafa received so many criticisms. Government binyunge still now security sector reform it's not achieved and all that. Gis nañ ne recently soldiers yi dañ leen accused of so many things. Police officers yi tamit dañ leen allege to have involved in certain things law hamne is not in accordance with the law. Gis nañ ne sa suñu the recent all the protests that occurred in 2019 last year dañoo gis ne daf dey am violence between the police officers and of course the citizens. So li yep ñi ñi dañ conclude ne Gambia security sector reform it's still not realistic or is still not realized after 3 years. Why hopefully dal policy document bi dal dafa change something in the security sector reform. Why still now many people are of the belief that security sector reform bi dal desna. So send jangat si lolu lolen gis Gambia security sector reform after 3 years. It's meant to orient those in the security sector, upgrade them and to make sure they act professionally in their work. Why gis nañ ne over the years dal this security sector reform dal moy lolu.
Wa julde it's been 3 years. You cannot expect a 22-year rule to change a 3-year rule to change a 22-year rule. Lulu dafa yomba torop ba pare comme it's security, the matter is delicate, so people ñu nga xamne nekkuñ fofu nonu, you don't know what is inside. You should not be criticizing things. And this Barrow-led government, they have been trying, though they have been doing things sometimes that people have doubts about, but they have been trying. And this security sector reform, they have tried a lot because for the past 22 years, no one had rights. No one had the right to talk. No one had the right to cry your comme li la métti daal.
Your expression or your freedom
everything.
of speech
Nobody had the right to cry for anything. So this government, they have changed a lot. People are now coming out. They have the right to share their views and opinions. They have the right to say what hurts them. And you have the right to say you no longer want this type of security, you want a reform. And they are doing the reform. It's been 3 years. So just gradually.
Don't you think it's a bit slow? And about freedom of expression, freedom of movement and all that, don't you think Gambians are the very people who fought for this?
Nothing comes overnight. Nothing comes overnight.
No, but that's true. But what I'm saying is, don't you think
patience, there is nothing like patience. There is nothing like patience. Gambians, we lack patience. We don't know what patience is even. It's been 3 years. We change this security reform. I am 100% sure another government, another regime will come and meet it here, and they will still do the reform.
No, the reform,
the thing is
that will happen.
The mindset,
in every government
that we have is what should change. Julde ñun mënu ñoo jog rek ñu ne dañoo tabax taax benn bés. Mënu ñoo tabax taax benn bés te ñun taax lañ bëgga te taax mënu loo ko tabax benn bés at least minimum taax di nga ko sampa at defe naa de. Te Gambia ñun amuñ that resources bu nga xam ne lu Chinese yi am ñu build a hospital in 10 days. We don't. So we cannot build a mansion in 3 years or in 5 years.
That is true. You have a point there, but come like linko de waxe rek mo nek ne at least steps jego yo xamne government bi mum ko jël to make sure they achieve this security sector reform. It's rather too slow. And secondly, comme ñi luñ dé wax sen arguments mo nek ne the security sector reform, those who are in the old system are still the very people who are manning key positions at the security in
what
the
if
security
they are more
apparatus. So I mean, these are some of the things you have dañ ko raise. So but anyway, everybody is entitled to your own very own opinion. So Modnyang, ñu bay la rek yo tammi nga wax ñu lo xalaat ci security sector reform bi fi gis nañ ne gaay dañ launched the policy fofu nonu, but all is aimed to enhance to the security sector reform. But security sector reform dafa nekk loo xam ne every day gaa ñi ñu ngi ko debate. Gis nañ Mariam wax na own version am mu ne Gambian bi amut patient and all. So jox na proverb foofu noonu waaye proverb lu ma ko understand mooy Rome is not built in a day. But anyway, that is our very own opinion there.
Anyway, Mariam am na fu mu wax neen fa àndam ak moom because 3 years pour nga change ci lu amoon 22 years dafa jafeñ te ñu buñ réeree mbir ne nguur gu fi jógee kooku dafa nekkoon si soldaar yi xam soldaar yi ñëw jiite réew ñaar fukki at ak ñaar si boo xam ne ni si moom nu mu ko neexee woon la du doon nu neexee nit yi donte leen nit yi ñoo ko doon fal waaye moom nu mu ko neexee la doon def xam armée bi lool toon ko nu mu ko buggee woon not nu armée bi waroon a rouler waroon a doxee la ko doon moom nu mu ko buggee so loolu dafa passé so keneen ñëw comme nu mu ko waxee even bi ku demee sax keneen dafa ñëwaat réforme li fi nekka lu important rek mooy ne armée bi ñoom ñu xam seen bopp xam ne ñoom dañ am responsabilité bi rëy si réew mi wax na dëgg itam foog ñu am patient because mun loo xëy rek nga am taax da nga war a am foundation 3 years nag bariwul bari na waaye itam nag cin tam bu naree neex rek su baxee dafa xeeñ lu neex tam loolu ku nekk xam na ko but lu ñuy wax mooy ne mbiri sécurité government ku ñëw rek ak yow lu si sa xel dal loolu ngaa def kenn mënul fee génnee nag ñu nga xam ne soldats yi mag ñoo dee am expérience doo mën a wax ne soldats yi fi Yaya Jammeh ba woon Gambie government du mën a liggéey ñëpp loolu mënut a nekk kon da ngaa daax ñëpp di 22 years am na suñu nga xam ne juddu neen si solo si sax soldat soo nga ne yow ba léegi ñu nekkoon si régime la ñu ngi fi waaye nag du ñu ay nit su fekkee ñoom ñi ngi set mun nañ continuer xool seen place
waaw ñu ne waaw su dee ne gars yi dañ set waaye gars yi luñ nekk di wax moo nekk ne ñoo xam ne dañ leen mention si TRRC bi ne they have committed alleged atrocities against the very own citizens.
They were under order.
Those are but that is not
they were under order. You cannot expect
Mariam, I always tell you, doing wrong is not justifiable.
To his leader.
Doing wrong cannot be justified anywhere. What is wrong, it's wrong.
TRRC bi mu ngi si kawam di dem loolu tax ñu xam ko loolu pareegul waaye dama nit ñi ñoo war a xam ne nekkul ne rek ku liggéeyoon na Yaya Jammeh warloo liggéeyaa si réew mi loolu xalaat bu tardé la boobu dañ ko war a tegee côté parce que Yaya nag wax dëgg yàlla lu mu fi liggéey si nit dafa bari trop soo waxee ne ñun ñëpp nag guñ si laal rek dootoo laal keneen kon su yàggee dañoo uti ay France ou Angleterre ñu ñëw defal ñu suñu liggéey bi fii so loolu mënul nekk.
all right anyway léegi daal TRRC bi mu ngi ongoing léegi su jeexee daal dañoo make recommendations.
ba pare ñu am personne comme ni ko may foog tam nit yi dee moom muñ te xam ne àdduna xëy rek sotti da nga ko xool nit ki si dundam fi nga juddoo raam dox yëpp so loolu la waaye di ñaax taxaw tan ñu bàyyi nguur dañ leen war a ñaax si lu bëri ñu taxaw si waaw waaye nag ñi right now ñu nekk si boppi armée bi démb gis naa leen maa ngi woon si conférence bi waaye ñu am neen su ñoom njortu bu rafet ne ñii incha allah dinañ ko yóbbu fu ko réew mi soxla parce que ay borom yi xam-xam leen te kilifa leen te nit leen ñoo xam ne am nañ yaakaar président bi am na si ñoom yaakaar te askan bi tam am na si ñoom yaakaar.
All right, yeah. we are optimistic about that. Let's just move on and talk about matters of the APRC because we are expecting this afternoon that they are holding a press conference. Let us talk about that for now. The Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction Party will hold a press conference this afternoon. The press conference will be held in Talinding at Bakari Tombong Jata's residence at 3 p.m. Burning issues such as Court of Appeal ruling on asset sales of the Janet Commission will be dilated along with other trending issues. On the line with us this morning is the Deputy Spokesperson and Secretary Dudu Ja. Good morning, Mr. Ja, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Happy to be on the program. Good morning, Africa.
We understand that you're supposed to hold a press conference this afternoon. Tell us, about what more we are expecting. We understand that you did mention that you are going to talk about the ruling on the courts of appeal. But what more are we to expect in today's press conference?
Thank you very much. Besides the ruling of the Court of Appeal, there are a lot of other burning issues in the country that need to be talked about. From the closure of Banjul Breweries, commonly known as Julburu, known by many, but we'll dilate on that. And we've also received some information about workers in Basse that were brutalized or marginalized by these Chinese that are, undergoing the construction of the bridge and roads. But we feel these are also issues we need to talk about. And for the past 2 days, people have rumored about the proposed take data, and there are people who are alleging it to APRC have some elections. We'll do some clarification. These and a host of other issues that are affecting Gambians will be highlighted.
Interesting there, and that audio has been trending over the past days, so which is attributed to the APRC, like you've just mentioned. So what are the key clarifications that we have to expect from the party?
Honestly, odious are odious, and it cannot be tied to the party. None of the executive members were involved, and names were not mentioned that directly came to APRC. But what they are alleging is the 2 audios that went viral, those were made by APRC supporters. So being a supporter does not mean that whatever you do or say, it comes from the party. So this is something that people need to take heed. And propaganda is propaganda. It's created. And if you look at the case scenario, 22 years of Yaya Jammeh, a lot of propagandas were there, and which many people never cried foul. They took it as normal. The likes of journalist Panderim Bai in the US did a lot of propagandas. The likes of Esa Bokarsi did a lot of propaganda against Yaya Jammeh, talked about proposed coup d'etats and the like. But we've seen that this president has employed him and given him a job. So this is nothing new. And by then, when it was done, it was never tied to any single political party. So why now do they have to tie everything to APRC? It's really funny.
Interesting, and like I said before, you are also expected to talk about matters of the, court ruling from the Court of Appeal. The Jammeh assets should not be sold. How will this affect the party, really?
It's definitely not affecting the party. We've been talking about this many years ago, or I can say since this Jane Commission started. At the same very studios, I was once invited at iAfrica TV, and I did talk about it, that what they were doing was illegal. During the procession of the Jane Commission, they started selling some of these assets, which according to law was definitely wrong. When I said this, I think it was last year, and I have this video, a short one, about 9 minutes, where I talked about it, and I definitely debunked what the Jane Commission was doing. So today, the Court of Appeal has only proved us right. When we talked about it by then, most people just thought we were ranting on social media. We had no grounds. We were just talking for the sake of talking. But today, at least the whole world knows that what we were saying, we were absolutely right.
Interesting. Will you consider the court's decision to reclaim what really belongs to your party?
But of course, what belongs to the party belongs to the party. What belongs to the former head of state is a different case scenario. There are people who say that the party must take its stance, but we must remind them we are a party, and we are only entitled to what belongs to the party. A government is a government. What transpired in the previous government, the people involved, they are the ones who could stand outright and to proclaim it. Unless a power of attorney is sent to the party for us to represent them. But if that is not done, we don't have any rights to claim any property that were under government. But what belongs to the party will do everything to keep our assets.
So what exactly is the APRC asking from the government specifically?
First of all, the assets of the party itself. They took our vehicles, which amounted to 40-something vehicles, about 45. But 29 of those we were able to have all their details. Vehicles that we don't have the exact details, we did not include them. Our bank accounts were frozen. There's money in it, there's no money in it, it belongs to the party, and they have to release such accounts. And this is something we cannot just let lying. They forcefully evicted us from our former bureau, whereas we still have some items, very important items in that bureau, whether they still exist or not. They did not allow us to collect what belongs to the party. So this is key that the party is pushing, and will do whatever it takes to take it back, because they said they would investigate through the Jane Commission. The report came out, they never made mention of it. The government white paper never made mention of it, and this belongs to the party. So we definitely want them back.
Finally, Duduja, before we take a leave of you, what steps will the party take next?
To be quite honest, we're very peaceful, law-abiding, and we will follow due process. As we speak, we're engaging legal experts, that is lawyers, people who have a legal background to advise us what steps do we need to take next. And on the other hand, we're also raising funds. We all know fighting legal cases is very expensive. So we're embarking on fundraising to make sure that we'll have the financial muscle we need in order to push our case forward. But be rest assured, we're not going to leave it lying down.
Thank you very much, Duduja, Deputy Spokesperson and Secretary of the APRC. Thank you for your time.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. That was Duduja, Deputy Spokesperson and Secretary of the APRC. Ñom dañ doon andi leral fofu nonu ga ñu ngi supposed to am a press conference this afternoon to talk about the decision of the Court of Appeal on the Jane Commission assets yo xamne government bi daf ko doon jaay. Gis dégg nañ ne mom lu wax fofu nonu mu ne they will take legal measures. They will do all they can to make sure that they, reclaim what actually belongs to the party. What belongs to the state belongs to the state, but what is theirs, and dañoo def everything possible to make sure ne gaay ñu am ko fofu non ko mo neka Duduja dégg ngeen lu wax ngeen andi jàngat rek ci lu wax ak APRC ak Jane Commission assets yi xam nga yi fi assets yi APRC yi mom ak Jammeh mom it's not something new. We have been reporting and talking about it since yaaga na since 2018 or 2019 dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa yaaga trop so seen jàngat si loolu briefly because this morning viewers we have a guest here that will a very important guest for that matter that will talk about key issues that is happening and next week something is about to happen. I'm not going to reveal it but it will happen next week and we are going to talk about those things in a short while. I will let you know who the guest is and you know the areas of discussion but before then ma bàyyi leen rek ngeen wax briefly rek on what is you hear from the APRC deputy spokesperson ak seen jàngat si loolu.
waaw julde lii affaire yi APRC la ak nguur bi la it's like nit ñi dañu war a understand tamit ne despite the fact ne he was a ruling president for 22 years we should not expect him to be poor and we should not expect his party to be poor as well. So the thing is look Janneh commission bi waroon na def mooy investigate thoroughly through the matter lu nga xam ne APRC ñoo ko own the party itself ñoo ko own dañ leen ko waroon a bàyyee lu nga xam ne Jammeh own it from his pocket dañ ko waroon a bàyyee and what they think belongs to the government to the society or to the people or to the government ñu seize ko jaay ko but they did not do that. They seized everything and start selling everything. So gis nga APRC if they take a legal step towards them dinañ leen win te dinañ daan bu métti te su boobaa dafa métti because they have already sold.
But that is why they went to the court of appeal.
Maybe they have sold half of it. Now if they have sold half of those things, how do they expect to get it back? They cannot go and forcefully take it from the people they sold it. So dafa am things yu nga xam ne bala nga ko dee def da nga waroon a xalaat comme the repercussions bala nga ko dee def because yow nga ñëw rek commencé nangu because they were the ruling government you were angry with them they were the ruling government nga ñëw rek nangu lépp lu gaay moom commencé di jaay commission dafa am ñu nga xam ne dañ jël seen complaints and stuff like that so ñu bàyyee ko noonu daal.
So Nyang briefly rek sa jàngat si loolu because time daal it's like mu ñu bugg a jaamu
te nag li mu war a wax nga réew mi mu ngi dox si yoon because am nañ right am appeal you know waaye lu si gën a doy waar mooy ne dafa mel ne suñu àttekat yi tamit justice bi tamit am nañ si independent because dem nañ ba reject ne li mënul si sukkandiku àttale na so loolu tam leneen lu nga xam ne war ne yoon mu ngay dox si réew mi loolu war a te ñoom ñu mën a dem appeal te gis nañ ne yoon dina si doxal li si war a doxal man gis nañ li war a am so li war a am yëpp am na so loolu is very important gis nañ dina si déglu am na solo bu baax a baax maa ngi ko nuyu sax Doudou Dia suma xarit la suma tomaalo dafa nekk lu nga xam ne daal gis nañ fi ñaari nga xam ne nii wala ñetta toujours government bi daf si di am daal te nguur nag war na moytu loolu parce que am na opportunity am na bagage yu am yëpp pour mën a investiguer pour mën a seet lu war a jàng ak lu jàng ba pare door a def gis nañ ko si yaa Kumba gis nañ ko si Janneh commission
all right fu mu nekk nii moom Janneh commission bi daal ñoom ñoo make recommendation bi so dem na si court of appeal so des na si ñoom daal lan la ñoo def ñoom seen it is left to them because ñoom ñoo am the final verdict as to this Janneh commission moom dañ make a recommendation rek so waaye des na léegi to the court of appeal pour ñu wax but it's important to note the Janneh Commission, it's not wrong or right. They just simply made recommendations on the issues they dealt with. So from that, briefly, then information right here in the studio. We just briefly read it to you people, information that is just reaching us this morning. In exercise of the powers vested in him by Section 34, subsection 6 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow declares that a state of public emergency continues to exist in the whole of the Gambia. This further declaration shall last for a period of 21 days pursuant to Section 34, subsection 2, with effect from today, 10th of June 2020. Therefore, all the emergency regulations issued under the Emergency Powers Act shall continue to apply during the period of the state of public emergency. Signed by Ibrahim Aji Sankare, spokesperson of the government. Well, that is the brief information we have for you that reached us just this morning about the state of public emergency. Hamna never elapsed yesterday, but President Barrow used the pass vested on him to extend the state of public emergency to another 21 days. Well, we will just take a short break and come back. Today, the newspapers will not be able to deal with it because we have a guest in this morning, Lamin K. Sedi from the Child Protection Alliance. As you know, the commemoration of the Day of the African Child is next week, 16th of June. So we will have him here in the studio to tell us what plans they have ahead of the event. Let's take a short break and come back.
ñu leen di nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa sant néew bu bàyyeekoo TRRC Truth Reconciliation and Reparations Commission ngir TRRC moom leen jox doole sàkku dëgg ak taxawal dëgg si wàllum jafe-jafe not ak toroxtaane yi tegoon nit ñi bàyyeekoo July 1994 ba January 2017 si wàllum liggéey ngir sàkk fokk ñu am képp ku nga xamante ne nii bokkoon na si nit ñu nga xamante ne leen notoon toroxal leen teg leen ay ñaawteef ñu leen di ñaan ngeen ñoo joxe seen statement yi waaye ñu leen di wax tamit ne képp ku nga xamante ne nii bëgg ngaa ñoo joxe sa kàddu waaye bëgguloo feeñ si télé wala si caméra wala si nit ñu bari loolu yépp ne la ko mën a rafetalal ñu defal la ko si secret kon ñu leen di ñaan yéen ñëpp képp ku nga xamante ni jànku wante nga toroxtande wala ñaawteef bu bàyyeekoo boppu jamono ñu leen ñaan nga ñoo joxe sa statement bi képp ku nga xamante ne ni bëgg ngaa ñoo joxe sa statement callal Victim Support Unit si 770 4988 770 4988 770 4988 wala nga call statement tekasi si 741 5937 741 5937 741 5937 jërë ngeen jëf.
Welcome back after that short commercial break, but unfortunately we could not read the newspaper headlines this morning for you because we're short of time, but we promised tomorrow we will definitely do that. As I told you earlier on, we have a guest here this morning in the studio to talk about matters of the Day of the African Child. The Day of the African Child has been celebrated on June 16 every year since 1991 when it was first initiated by the OAU, Organization of African Unity. It honors those who participated in the Soweto uprising in 1976, that where students were demanding for educational reformation in Africa. In this morning, we have Lamin K. Saidi, Youth Coordinator and Advocacy Focal President. Good morning, Lamin, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Like I said, thank you so much for having you in the studio this morning. Like I said, the commemoration of the Day of the African Child is set for June 16, which is next week. But we just want you to tell us, as the coordinator and the focal president at the Child Protection Alliance, we just want you to give us a brief history of the Day of the African Child.
Thank you very much. As alluded to you by you in your preamble, in 1976, children of South Africa, specifically in Soweto, demanded from their government, the then apartheid government, on the need for them to be taught in languages that they understood, and also the content of their curriculum, the school curriculum, to be something that reflects their culture, their history, and something that is related to them. Unlike the then approach of teaching where they are taught about white supremacy, etc., etc. So the children resisted, what was taught to them by the then white apartheid government, and that resulted to an uprising. Children went out on the street, to show their anger and also condemnation of the educational system, but were received heavy-handedly by the security forces, and that resulted to the killing of many children. So to reflect on this, and also not only the incident of Soweto uprising, but the African Union set aside 16 June as the commemoration of the Day of the African Child, not to only remember those children who died in Soweto, but also reflect on the plight of children in Africa.
Very interesting and explicit explanation there. But after 44 years, 1976 to date, that is 44 years, was Africa really able to achieve some of the rights that these children were really fighting for?
As I respond to that question, I just remembered that we've just lost a young person today who has fought so hard in emancipating children of Africa, not only in the Gambia, but children of Africa in total, in the person of Abdou Diatta, the co-founder of Young People in the Media. So we pray that Allah grant his soul in Jannah. His passing was announced this morning, so we grieve and also join the family in praying for the departed soul. Abdul was a young person, a child right activist, really, in the Gambia. If you talk about child right activism, Abdul is one of those, really young people who has received a lot of support from UNICEF and traveled across the continent to promote rights of children. So as we approach the Day of the African Child, he died today, so we can only pray for him. In respect of your question, I think, yes, children of Africa has and continue to face a lot of challenges, but a lot of things has also been achieved. Now, let me say this, it's unfortunate that the children of Soweto stood against white supremacy. They stood against the educational system that was imposed by the then apartheid regime. But since after Africa gaining independence, a lot of African countries gaining independence, it's still unfortunate that now children of Africa are not being suppressed by any white person, by any white government, but by their own governments. And that's the funniest part of the irony. The African governments, most African governments are independent. They're independently running their governments, but children continue to suffer under their governments by being subjected to child labor, sexual abuse and exploitation. Maternal mortality, and morbidity. These are all issues that children of Africa are faced with. And when I said they have been suppressed by their own governments, is because governments have the primary duty to protect and promote rights of children in their countries. Coming down to the Gambia, we know a lot of progress have been made, just like in many other African countries.
Yeah.
We have the...
Yeah, I was even coming to that.
Exactly.
But I just want us to
set the background.
Okay,
so to say that
generally
I think,
in Africa.
Yeah, we have a lot of treaties. We have at the global level, we have the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, that at the global level looks at promotes rights of children. At the African level, we have the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Children. We have the Maputo Protocol. We have the CEDAW Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. When you talk about children, we also talk about women. But again, also we know the Universal Declaration on Human and People's Rights also promotes rights of children. So this and many other treaties. The AU agenda, also promotes rights of children. So we have a lot of international treaties, sub-regional treaties. We have a lot of programs that have been going going on. We have a lot of researches that have been conducted in respect of, issues of children. For example, the African Child Policy Forum, based in Addis Ababa, has done a lot of work. A lot of position papers were written about plights of children at the continental level. So yes, a lot of things have been done.
Yeah, you did mention a lot of protocols and international treaties, done in Africa, all geared towards protecting the rights of children in Africa. But 44 years down the line, where is Africa when it comes to child protection? We've seen that so many things are happening, child exploitation, we've seen child begging, street begging, and all that in Africa. What is really wrong? You did mention in your statement that, though African leaders, we have independent governments, but these children continue to be suppressed on daily basis by their own governments. What do you think went wrong in Africa?
A lot of things have gone wrong. One, perception about children's rights is totally, misunderstood by not only, our governments, but by parents, and parents are supposed to be supported by governments. Now, I did talk about legislations. We have a lot of laws. For example, in the Gambia, the 1997 Constitution, really guarantees rights of children. From section 27 of the Constitution to section 30, mainly talks about rights of children, because I know section 28 specifically talks about rights of children, but section 30, for example, talks about right to education, etc., etc. So we have the Children's Amendment Act of 2016. We have the Women's Amendment Act of 2015. We have the Sexual Offences Act. We have the Trafficking in Persons Act. We have the, the Tourism Offences Act. We have the GTB Board Code of Conduct. The Criminal Code. All these legal instruments exist. The list goes on. But up to date, we have ratified the ILO Convention. We have institutions like the Department of Social Welfare, NATIP, and it goes on. But the police has established a child welfare unit. What remains a challenge is the enforcement of the laws. The enforcement of the laws, research about plights of children remains a challenge at the level of the state. The Gambia government up to now couldn't fulfill its reporting obligation to the African Committee of Experts. Then that tells you something is missing. For almost 20-something years, the government could not report to the treaty body. That shows that something is wrong, fundamentally wrong, when it comes to issues of children. Now, it's about either we're not serious about issues of children, or we are not very much committed to advancing the plights of children. Yes, we appreciate all the efforts in terms of, laws, in terms of policies, in terms of programs, but we need to see the practical action in terms of social services. Children are, missing. There is a mislink in terms of the social services that are protected. You, for example, go to the entire Carnegie municipality. You don't have a recreational facility for children. The entire Carnegie municipality, that goes across the board. The few state-owned social services like recreational facilities that we have, they can't be used by children, or they are used for other purposes. For example, at the Makati Square, the facilities are not available. The buffer zone has been hijacked for other revenue generation measures. So children really are only mentioned when we want to. But the reality is that they continue to suffer. If you move outside this studio, the next less than 100 meters, you will come across children engaged in child labor. You will come across children engaged in other exploitative activities. So that's the plight of African children. So a lot of things has gone wrong, from the political will to the applicability of laws.
So even Section 16 of the Child's Act protects and guarantees, like you said, the recreational centers of children. But like you said, the Makati Square in Banjul, the buffer zone, which is meant for recreational centers, all these things are violated because we have not been seeing them. But aside from that, we also have seen, everyday street begging of children. We have seen child exploitation on daily basis. You know, you have seen apprentices who are really children. So as Child Protection Alliance, you know, how would you really, what is your level of engagement with the government? Because the rights of children are violated on daily basis.
The Child Protection Alliance is a civil society organization. We are an NGO, a consortium of different organizations that come together to amplify our voices. You have about 32 organizations that come together to form an alliance to say, look, we want to speak with one voice. Because if, for example, Child Fund is doing it their own way, I mean, you know, Education for All campaign is doing it their own way, Action Aid is doing it their own way, Network Against Gender-Based Violence, I mean, all these others doing their way, the impact may not be felt. So we said, let's come together and form a unified body that will coordinate the activities of all these players so that we can approach the government with a unified position. And since then, the Child Protection Alliance has influenced a lot of policies and programs of government. We're involved in research. We do research because for us, we believe we need to go in for evidence-based programming. Before we do anything, we need to base it on evidence. And this is why we conduct a lot of researches. When we do this research, we share the research findings with government, but also use it as an advocacy tool to, to press the government or to engage the government in terms of. The other thing that we also do is capacity enhancement. We try to ensure that the government institutions that are relevant to child protection also have the required capacity in terms of training, the technical know-how on how to, for example, we've been engaging the Ministry of Finance, the National Assembly Select Committee on Women and Children in what we call child-friendly budgeting, as recommended by the UN Committee in their general comment 19 on public financing, that our public financing has to be child-centered also to provide for the social services. So we've been engaging governments at this level. We have also been engaged in a lot of, sensitization, raising awareness of the public on how to also protect their children, how to take care of their children. That has been core into our activities.
All right. On the side of the research, you did talk about that, but how would you rate government when it comes to the protection of children in the Gambia here? Hence, you're involved in research and all of sort. So, how would you rate, government's, efforts in making sure that they protect the rights of Gambian children?
I know this has to be looked at case by case. I don't want to make a lump sum, rating of government in terms of their government, because when it comes to issues of children, it looks at administrative, legislative, and empowerment of communities. Now, at the level of legislation, I can say 80% in terms of having laws, 80%. Now, what is missing in terms of legislations is to ensure that our laws are aligned with international standards. We have all these laws. I mentioned them. We can talk about laws protecting children here for the whole of this program. We're not able to exhaust. But the enforcement of these laws remains a challenge. For example, on a daily basis, we have the Sexual Offences Act that defines rape, defilement, etc. But on a daily basis, I can tell you, you've talked about child labor and all these issues, but on a daily basis, almost every second night, we will have an incident of sexual abuse, specifically raped of children in the Gambia. That will be reported to us. That I can tell you for free. Hardly a week passes by without having a report of sexual abuse. But what happens at the level of the courts? Not much has been, done at the level of the courts. So, meaning these issues are coming up. And at the end of the day, what will happen is people get frustrated, people get discouraged, and you've heard about, probably you may have heard about, you have heard about a child impregnated by the father's friend. You heard about this. We know a matter, I knew of a matter that went before a children's court. This child was being sexually abused by a father. We know of, a vice principal of a school, being, raped and impregnated by, the vice principal of a school. It goes on and on and on. So, but what's the end? And, a child was raped by an ustaz in a dara. It goes on. But at the end of the day, even if actions are taken, the state is not coming out to talk to the public about these issues. We cannot, brush these things under the carpet. We need to speak out. So at the Child Protection Alliance, these are things that we bring to light. We talk to the public about. We tell people that these things are happening. Protect your child. But again, important to all this, we are empowering communities, telling parents, protect your children. So on a scale of 100 in terms of laws, the state that's my personal position. I will rate the state at 80. In terms of institutions, I will rate the state at 60, because we have now that I think I can raise it to 75, because we have the Ministry for Children Affairs now. We have a ministry coordination body for children affairs, and we are aware of a lot of reforms that they are undertaking. We have the Department of Social Welfare. We have NATIP, the anti-trafficking agency. I mean, it goes on. So, but what happens at this institutional level? What are the capacity of these institutions? We know at the Ministry of Justice, they have created a children's rights unit. But like I said, capacity, resources, and programs to promote the programs of these institutions.
It's like time is not on our side, but I will briefly allow my colleague here to talk to you on the local languages, that is Wolof, so that our audience also, who are Wolof, who can speak only Wolof, knows what is really happening here. Ma by time jot na waaye briefly rek nga wax ni si kàllaama Wolof moom ñaan.
waaw am na solo Mr Seydi jërëjëf si jaale tam comme sa waajooju wax noonu ñaan yàlla xaaree ko àjjana. amiin. ok di wax ne rek 1976 dafa yàgg at boobu laa juddu. wel si laa juddu màgg naa si am naa si jabar am naa si doom tey soo ma doon wax yéen dibi ngeen door xeex boobu ba léegi su doon ngañ maay ñaata ngeen si am wala li ngeen si ñàkk lan la ndax li ngeen si bëggoon am ngeen ko wala jege ngeen ko wala lifin.
jërëjëf si laajte boobu ndi ku la xool tey war a xam ne tey digga bu tasee yow si mbedda war laa jox ciir ndig sa at kon nag ñun tamit si wàllum jéego yuñ jël si wàllum ngañ maay dinaa ne am nañ si ndam ndig tey toll nañ foo xam ne am nañ ay jotaay yoo xam ne dañ ci di waxtaan affaire xale yi jotaay bu jóg rek dinañ ci waxtaan affaire xale yi li des mooy doxalini réew yi in terms of child rights issues because am na yoo xam ne moom loolu dafa mel ni judduwaale la I'm sorry to say waaye it's not comme for example tey si bu xee amee si réew maanaam political dispute bu fekkee ne ay wàllum fitna yu jóg wàllum saani karta la wala leneen ñu si dee gën a soxna mooy xale yi ak jigéen yi te loolu moom continuer na te yaakaar naa loolu dina continuer faw waaye nag si wàllum loi si wàllum programmes si wàllum services yi foog naa des nañ si gannaaw torop si wàllum doxalini luwa am nañ luwa yu bëri waaye si doxalin xaw nañoo na sax si gannaaw si loolu noonu si wàllum programme yi nga xam ne loolu la ñu war a teg pour aar xale yi loolu tamit des na torop boo seetee Gambia am nañ police child welfare unit boobu noonu nag mi nga xam ne moom moo war a taxaw pour gis ne aar nañ suñ xale yi fi nga xam ne report am na fa wàllum xale yi ñu daw ci amuñ doole bi dégg la ñoom xëy na because bunti nguur la ñoom duñ génn pour wax li waaye ñun foog ñu wax si seen tour ndik ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo war a yore wàllum xale yi tey ñoom amuñ moto sax pour war a mun a dem respond to crimes loolu dafa doy waaru dafa mel ni dañu am institutions yooyu noonu waaye lu war a tax institutions yooyu noonu dox dafa mel ni nga am oto boo xam ne amut essence wala gasoil xam nga boo buggee jóg doo mun a dem so foog ñu dooleel institutions yooyu noonu for example police child welfare unit ñu dooleel leen ñu am resources yi because from the head office to the last officer in the region amuñ si motocycle sa astuma moto kon léegi suñ la ne for example yow sa office mu ngi Wellingara ñu ne la am na xale buñ rape in Nema am na place yoo xam ne in Nema pour nga jot si place yooyu noonu mun dafaa jafe ñaareel bi xale buñ rape nga war a dem attempt to that case léegi soo demee pour arrest wala jël xale boobu noonu da nga am pour duggaa moom si biir taxi bi soo duggee si biir taxi bi léegi fu ñu nekk ne xale bi expose na driver bi dina xam ne xale bi dañ daanu si kawam kon kooku noonu mun naa waxtaan ak keneen ba xale boobu noonu identity bi dinañ ko disclose kon si wàllum nga waaw du amaat sutura te xale boobu noonu xale buñ daanu si kawam tey soo gisee ñu ne nañ ko sutura xale boobu noonu mun naa naa taxaw ëllëg pour sàkku place yi mbooloo maanaam bu nga nekk président wala député te ñun xam nañ ne tey ñun suñ politique dañ laa xas si li la daloon démba
non bis boo taxawee pour place yi sax
loolu lañ laa xasee
sa gannaaw lañ laa xool la ñoo seet la ban mun laa xas
loolu moo nekk
si ñëw tam because ñu bëri ñu ngi wax child rights dafa jox right independent ba keneen mënut a yar sa doom ak yooyu noonu ñu bëri si askan bi dañuy wax lu mu yàq moo gën a bëri den lu mu defar den ndax yéen da ngeen dee méngoole si loo leen bëgg si xale yarin bi ak suñu aada bi ak suñu cosaan bi bu leen seet international bi waaye fii si biir réew mi ndax da ngeen ko méngale itam ak suñu religion si because islam indi na yarin boo xam ne foog naa ne amul benn organisation bu mu am yar bu gën boobu ndax da ngeen dee méngale yooyu ak wala déet.
laajte bi am na solo trop benn dañ am UN Charter bi waaye UN Charter bi buñ ko seetee ñu ne dëgg la ñun lii nangootu nañ lii yëpp waaye ñun Afrique nag dañ am suñ aada dañ am suñ diina dañ am suñ cosaan kon nañ seet tamit loo xam ne dina méngoog loolu nangu nañ luñ nangutoo si mbootaay àdduna bi waaye nañ seet tamit Afrique lan mooy mun a dox Afrique ñu jël ñu defar lu ñoo ooyee African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Children pour wax la tamit ne loolu laajte dëgg loolu nañ nekk di doxalee African Charter boobu noonu loolu lañ ñëw tamit ñu ne nguur yi seet leen li nga xam ne loolu moo méngoo seen aada yi seen cosaan ak seen doxalini réew yi ñu am loolu lañ dee waxee domestication of the laws balaa charter boobu noonu di dox foog ñu domesticate ko si suñ néegi député yi so luwaay dañ dee dem suñu néegi député yi te luñ si dee seet mooy suñ aada suñ cosaan suñ diine yi kon lépp li nga xam ne luwaa la méngoo naak loolu pour wax la rek dafa mel ni wàllu misconception la nit ñi seen understanding about rights of children la waaye ñu ne for example joxal sa xale bi tur bu rafet tur bu seela joxal sa xale bi mu lekka façon lekka bi nag dafa des si waajur bi lu mu mën a afford ñu ne bi xale bi na am dëkkuwaay ñëpp xam nañ xale bu amul dëkkuwaay si mbedd la moo dëkka te mun naa adopt to any attitude ñu ne lañ yar xale yi loi bi moo wax loolu doon ne lañ yar xale yi ne lañ xamal xale yi seen aada ne lañ xamal xale yi seen diine ne lañ aar xale yi nañ leen ensure ne xale yi ñu am xibaar nañ leen ensure ne xale bu nekka mu jànga soo demee soo seetee luwaay yëpp lii la nekk di wax.
am na solo waaye time bi dafa jeex. liñ ci war a waxtaan bëri na trop di ko jaajëfal
Mr. Seydi, finally, tell us about the program, the upcoming program you're having. We understand that it's on the 16th, but tell us more about it and the theme for this year's celebration.
Okay, the at bi nag ñu ngi seet child-friendly services in terms of justice maanaam si bunti àttekaay because xam nañ ne fii xale bi du dee mun a dem mu institutal boppam legal case maanaam su fekkee ne mag moo ko def ñaawteef pour mu jóg dem si police bi moom si boppam mu report ñu file ko mu dem si court bi loolu amut so foog mu am mag an adult or an institution bi nga xam ne am na interest kooku mooy mun a jóg dem represent xale bi te ñun xam nañ ne Gambia fii institution si néew nañ trop so ñu ne léegi nañ seet services yi nga xam ne legal services wala services yooyu noonu naka la xale yi di amee access to those how friendly are they for children at bi fan loolu lañ nekk di seet maanaam suñ ne Eye Africa TV seen service yi yéen naka la friendly pour xale yi pour xale yi dox ñëw Eye Africa TV toog pour wax leen ñun lii moo ñu métti lii lañ bëgg a àdduna bi xam ko si ñun loolu naka la yombee kon ñu ngi ko seete si si anam boobu noonu at bi non su services yooyu noonu loolu la ñoo seet te ñëpp xam nañ ne fu ñu nekk nii ñu ngi global pandemic bi in terms of coronavirus bi tax na ne àdduna bi tey mënuñoo am social gatherings mënuñoo am ay ndaje te most of the time suñoo commemorate Day of the African Child dañ dee am ndaje yu bëri léegi dañoo am ay march pass ñu am ay ndaje o government partners ñu waxtaanee affaire si at bi loolu yëpp du mën a am so ñu ngi xalaat ba tey because lu yàggut la African Union bi ñoom dañ dee def consultation ak African countries yëpp ak xale yi balaa ñoo ñëw ak team bi pour seet lan moo gën a soxal African lan moo gën a sonal African xale yi si at boobu noonu ñu isi loolu noonu as a team so at bi luñ isi nii ñu ngi seet naka lañ ko mën a commémorer fu ñu nekk nii am nañ son proposals xale yi bugga nañoo am ay video conference pour waxtaan si team bi bugga nañoo defaree position paper jox ko government bi waaye nag ba tey ñu ngi say gëstu because foog naa last week la concept note bi génn because concept note bi document boobu noonu la African countries day jël ñu jël si seen programme si so ñun tamit ñu ngi see gëstu ñu ngi see xalaat waaye benn moom taxaw na outright in our programs mooy media engagement ndig media bi yéen am ngeen solo trop promoting rights of children moo tax démb rek foog naa maa ngi woon ak UN ñu ngi doon defal journalist yi benn training on naka la ñoo reporter affaire yi xale yi because loolu noonu tamit dafa am solo trop so ñu ngi see dox Media programs will be ongoing, we'll be popularizing the theme, we'll be talking about rights of children, and we want to thank you people for availing us this opportunity as the first media institution. Be more like the first activity in commemorating the Day of the African Child. I can tell you for free at the level of the Child Protection Alliance. But I also want to believe that across the board, this is Ben institution, being a starting Ben single program. Kudos to iAfrica TV.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is our duty and responsibility to make sure that the rights of children are protected. Finally, Rek, join us a final rendezvous because if not technical, will kill us.
No, they will not, because I know all of them value rights of children. I just want to say rights of children shall not be perceived as a favor or kindness given to children. It has to be manifested as a solidarity. Manam nekkuñ ne boo respecté ahi xale bi da nga ko nekk di jox sara wala da nga ko yërëm dafa war a nekk an act of solidarity maanaam li war ci yow la kon na ñëpp jóg ñu ràññee ahi xale yi foo fekka xale si loraange wala si loru na nga jël ay jéego bul gis ne dama yaakamti dama war a dem business dama war a def li ndig luwaa daf ko def force si yow ne soo gisee xale boo xam ne mu ngi si jafe-jafe mu ne nga bañ koo faale nga bañ koo dimbale mu ne yow buñ la téyee dañ la war a tëj kaso mandatory jail time of 1 year. So we want to make urge the government also nañ set inward suñ institution suñ establish. It is one thing to establish institution but another thing to make them functional, and we know what makes institutions functional. It has to be resource, it has to have the capacity, the technical capacity. For example, so create a Ministry for Children Affairs, we need to have personnel ñi nga xam ne understanding affaire xale yi itel na leen ba pare loolu moo xam naa ne mu ngi fa waaye war nañoo damaa wax ne lii these are basic requirements kon nañ gën a góorgóorlu pour gis ne suñu institutions are functional to be able to respond to issues of children. And we want to also tell African children, Gambian children that I know the celebration, the commemoration of, that's why we not say celebration, we said commemoration. It's not something that we celebrate, but we commemorate because it was not a pleasant event that brought us to today. I mean, the Soweto uprising was a very tragic event. Xale dañ génn ci mbedd bi loxo neen di naan ñun nii lañ bëgg a jàngee ñu jël ay bal ay fetel jam leen ba xale yu bari faatu si kon ñu ngi jaale xale yooyu noonu ñu ngi remember xale yooyu noonu ñu ngi remember tamit xale Africa ñi nga xam ne xale Gambie nga xam ne tamit dee nañ in the course of the struggle dee nañ because seen governments could not provide the basic services that they need, because a lot of xale yi tamit dee nañ in the Gambia because they lack the basic service. Dem si wàllu bunti wérgu yaram the basic service bu ñu la war a mën a provider pour aar la yow I mean nga enjoy life, you cannot.
Thank you so much. Nyang, in 1 second or 2 seconds nga jox gaay rendez-vous ba suba.
di wax ne rek na fexe tam message bi àgg si imam yi si muy xutba ko parce que lim fi tënk lu am solo la te xale ñooy amee réew mi rek ñooy màgg ndaw yi tey ñooy nekk màgg ëllëg kon ñu bara bàyyi xel kon li nga ko waxee non force na sa borom xale buy daw jàppale ñu ko kon ñun tam war nañ see waxtaan ba way jur bi su fekkee yaa ngi dimbale xale bi wala yaa ngi jubbante xale bi bu mu la si rek dafa war a jàng ko si loolu am nañ mbégte si waxtaan bi baax di xam ne di ko promise na rek fi lay balaa 16 la 16 June.
16
waaye weer bi yëpp la sax.
ok
It's not only the 16 June but weer bi yëpp la.
plateforme bi nga xam ne li nga xale yi la léegi yow sax
Exactly.
All right, it's very interesting. I mean, African children issues, mom suñ ko naree wax fi dañoo spend fi the whole day because it's really interesting, and they are the present and future leaders. Thank you so much, Lamin KCD, advocacy officer or coordinator, and then focal president at the Child Protection Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us in the Good Morning Africa program. We really appreciate your time. Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Good Morning Africa program. Hope you enjoyed it, because it was really interesting discussion there by Lamin K. Sedi. Till we come your way tomorrow, till then, have a nice day. And up next is the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, TRRC. Bye-bye.
gas power bi jeex na depuis démba xettali ma rek